What's going on, crypto sports fans? My name is Clay Albright, and I'm here with David Pence of Whatsminer MicroBT. And we're here to share with you today a comparison chart that David has put together. He was showing this to me yesterday, and I thought, man, this is definitely something we should put on video so that you guys could check this out as well. We're going to be recording the screen as David's walking us through this. So, David, show me these numbers again, because this was incredible.
Yeah. So, a few days ago, we had a customer, we just opened up the pre-sale for the M30S this week. And we've been doing it with our private customers all week, but we officially announced it on today, Friday, the 24th of January 2020, that anybody can go ahead and place their pre-order for the new M30S.
Right.
The Whatsminer M30S, which is, of course, what's the best miner?
Right.
Again, in 2020.
That's right, Whatsminer.
Whatsminer has come out with a new one. This is the fourth year in a row. They have the fastest miner, most efficient miner in the world. And this one is 86 terahash is the official number. They've been tweaking it. It was 82 and then 88, and the pre-production models that we were working with. But the final, to be safe with everybody, is 86 terahash. It uses 38 watts per terahash, which is the best. So it's the fastest machine in the world. It's the lowest power consumption in the world at 38 watts per terahash, and it's the same exact frame or size as the M20S, which both of those are single cans, like one bread box.
I didn't know that. So it is exactly the same size?
Exactly the same size, and it uses 3,268 watts. That's what the M20S used, 3,268. The M30S used it, but it was 68 terahash. The fastest miner last year in the world was 68 terahash, and now the fastest miner this year is 86, like dyslexia kicking in, right? But it's awesome. So we're getting pre-orders.
Well, what shocked me was when you told me the price, because it's actually less expensive, correct?
Yeah. That's a good point. The 68 terahash M20S was $2,510 last year. The 86 terahash M30S is $2,428. So they've lowered the price, made it faster, and lowered the power.
That's awesome.
So what else can it's unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable. So we love that. And what we're going to do today is we're going to compare the M30S to what you can buy today on Bitmain.com website. Bitmain.com, the 800-pound gorilla. They made a great miner back in the day. They made the S9 that really took off in the whole world. Basically, the Bitcoin network runs on the S9. Of course, the people who make all the Whatsminers are actually the designers of the S9. They actually moved out of Bitmain and actually started making Whatsminers. So yes, the S7 made by the MicroBT team, the S9 made by the MicroBT team, and then of course the M3, the M10, the M20, and the M30S all made by the MicroBT team. Those are all the most stable, best miners in the world. They can put up with the most heat. They can accept the most cold.
You told me one time how many S9s are out there in the world. What is that number?
We estimate that there are S9 or S9-like clones, by some other brands, that there are about 2 or 3 million S9s in the world running today.
Now, when the halving comes, those are dead in the water, aren't they? Or
if the price of Bitcoin shoots up, let's say it goes from wherever it is today, 7 to 9, whatever it is, 7,500, 8,000, 9,000, I forget, but let's just call it 8,000 today. If a Bitcoin's 8,000 today in 2020, January 2020, and it ends up being 16,000 in June or something, then an S9 can still make money, which is awesome that it has such a long longevity. It came out in 2015.
Yeah,
and it's 2020.
5 years. Yeah, that's incredible. That's awesome.
So that's really great. But what we're going to do today is we're going to look at this spreadsheet that we created because we had a customer come to us and say, hey guys, hey David, hey whatsminermicrobt.com, which is us.
He wanted a quote, right?
Yeah, 1,500 miners, and we said, okay, well here's all the facts that we just went over, and he's like, I can get the. He went onto the Bitmain website. He says, look, I can get the S17 Plus, which is 67 terahash. Now a lot of people say, no, it's 73. Well, go look.
That one's not available. It's not showing though.
For whatever reason,
You should, yeah.
Bitmain originally sold some 73s, and then they normally would say sold out, or this batch is sold out, you can get them next month, or the 6 months later, oh, they're sold out. Well, now there's no 73 terahash for sale for some reason.
Right.
So then what we saw a couple months ago is in October, at their annual user group meeting, they announced the 73.
Okay.
That was on their website for about 60 days, and then they took it off, which is interesting.
Strange, isn't it?
And wait a minute, then they added an S17 Plus at 70 terahash, and they lowered the price. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know. But anyway, then that got sold out, and then you couldn't buy it anymore, and like 30 days later, and then it got removed from the website.
Right.
And today, if you go look at the bitmain.com, the front page shows this beautiful S17 Plus, and it says 73 terahash, right?
Right.
And this is 40 watts per terahash. And that's true if you run it in low power mode, but if you run it in high power mode, it's not 40 watts per terahash.
Oh, a little trick there.
Yeah. So the reality is that if you buy one today, if you go on there and buy one today, it's a 67 terahash machine, which, by the way, is slower than last year's fastest machine in the whole world.
I mean,
our machine last year is 68 terahash.
Right.
And I also want to let you know, I think Whatsminer does the opposite of Bitmain. So we're in touch with the engineers every day. They just released a firmware upgrade that actually drives the M30S from 68 to 71 terahash.
Oh, heck yeah.
And it's free. You just download free, install it. So Whatsminer's going from 68 to 69 to 70 to 71 with its firmware upgrades.
Wow.
And it appears that Bitmain's going from 73 to 70 to 67. But I mean, that's today's data. So whatever. Right. But let's look. So it floors me when people go, I'm going to get the cheap one. It's like, yeah, good luck with that.
Right.
Listen. I know I'm like taking the bus and just doing this right now with Bitmain, but I mean, it is what it is. Why are you going from 73 to 67? Why are you doing that? Okay. Why are we going from 68 to 71? And why are we got 86 that's probably going to go to 90, right?
Right.
One of the interesting things is we deal with a lot of hosting companies. So a lot of their clients call us, contact us, and they may go buy 500 or 1,000 miners at a time. Well, we asked the hosting companies, hey, what's your experience with other miners? And not just Bitmain and Whatsminer, but Canaan is how it's spelled, but Canaan I think is how they pronounce it, and eBang, and
is that Avalon miner or is that Canaan?
Avalon, there's InnoSilicon, all these ones.
Yeah.
What we can tell from word back is that by far the S9 is the most bulletproof tank in the world. The Bitmain, let's be fair, the Bitmain S9, which is still sold today because it's so good, is a tank. Okay, so and then after that, or not after that, but equal to that are the MicroBT. The Whatsminers are the toughest machines on the rack.
Right.
I've heard terms. Let me give you a couple key terms. I've heard the S17, the S15, which is no longer made. It was made for like 90 days, and it doesn't.
Same story.
Yeah. And that was the S17. It's like a failed S17. Huh. Then they had the S17, the S17 Pro, the S17 Plus, and then the S17 Plus is like 3 or 4 different speeds. So some of the key phrases we've heard from some of these hosting companies, the number one 5-letter word I hear from, at least it's not a 4-letter word, the 5-letter word that I hear from the S17 Plus hosting companies is like, yeah, they work pretty good, but they're kind of like glass. That's what we hear, glass.
Wow.
So something breaks. I mean, look, you got 1,000 S17 Plus, you're going to get 800 of them running fine, right? But there's others that are whatever. And if you're in a desert environment or a super cold environment, or if you're in a really humid environment, I just don't think the S17 Plus is the quality of the S9. And
wow.
I think 10 out of 10 people that are in this business would confirm that as a fact.
Sorry. Say that last line one more time. My chair's going down on me.
I think that the S17 Plus's reliability compared to the S9, both Bitmain products, the S17 Plus is not as reliable. It's not like it's fallen off the cliff. It's not like it's got 3 tires and the other one's got 4.
But this is coming from the hosters that are working with them every day.
Yeah, the hosting companies that host thousands and thousands of these things. They're like, yeah, S17 Plus, it's okay. It's not the S9, right. And it's not it's not the Whatsminer.
Right.
So that's just sort of a, how do you quantify that when you're making a purchasing decision? I don't know. You got to be in the business. Maybe you have to buy 1,000 of these and 1,000 of these, and things change so much. It was still even, what model number, what firmware, what batch of controller cards came with. It's kind of tough, right?
Wow.
So what you have to do is just take an overall.
Right.
And then what does that mean to you? I don't know. To us, we used to use S9s and we switched over to, Whatsminers, and we haven't seen a drop off at all.
Excellent, excellent. So how do you get to this spreadsheet that we've...
Okay, so we're gonna go to our website, whatsminermicrobt.com, and that'll fire up. And then we're just gonna scroll, and at the near bottom of this, scroll a few pages, you will see the blog. And this is blog. And our latest blog, and it's January 24th, which is today, is the MicroBT Whatsminer M30S versus Bitmain Antminer S17 Plus comparison smackdown.
Smackdown. I like that.
In the case of this 1,500 miner customer,
he was going to go.
He was going to go. He was going to go the other way,
and he was only looking at really one number.
So let me show you. We got this little article I just pointed out. They said, and I quoted in here, oh, well, I'm going to go with the S17 Plus because it costs less, which is true, and I can get it in less than 60 days, which is also true. Bitmain is a huge company, right? They're 10, 20, 30 times larger than MicroBT. Mm-hmm. So they make multiple models. They still sell the S9 for $97.
Wow.
Right? So go plug one of those in. You can make money for a few more months. But the bottom line is that they've got multiple production lines, and so they can ship their miners straight to the customer, and customer can feel good about it. They put out money, they get the product. We've ordered many of these Bitmain, and again, the S9 is a solid product. So you get this thing in less than 60 days. With Whatsminer, you have to wait. Right now, our pre-sale starts officially today. If you wire money to us today, and it's January, you're not getting your miners till May. Oh. You wire money to Bitmain, you're going to get your miners in, March. Right. So you got to wait. Huh. But I was like, hey, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. So this analysis has all that in there.
Okay.
So what we did is we said, okay, you get an S17 Plus, you run it. What's the serviceable life? Well, the S9s came out in 2015 and 2016. So that's 4 or 5 years from now, and people are still buying them brand new on the website today.
True that.
And the whole network, 80% of the network runs on S9s approximately.
Right.
So I mean, that's 4.5 years. So we said, okay, both these devices should be solid enough to make it 4 years, especially if they're in a professionally hosted mining facility, by professionals. You're not just running in your garage and it's raining on it or something. So we used 4 years, 48 months is the run rate. But what we did was we said, okay, the Whatsminer gets 4 years starting in May. It gets 48 months of profitability.
Okay.
The S17 Plus gets 50 months of profitability. It starts in March.
Okay, so you're allowing Bitmain a 2-month advantage.
And you heard the analogy of the rabbit and the hare, the turtle and the hare.
Yeah.
And the hare standing around, the rabbit standing around, and the gun goes off and the turtle starts going. Rabbit's sitting there eating a carrot, whatever, and then bam, goes, right?
That's right.
That's exactly what this is.
Right.
So it turns out, and I'm gonna give you the spoiler alert here, it turns out that this particular customer, if they buy 1,500 S17 Plus or 1,500 M30S, and they run them for the respective 50 or 48 months, that's the scenario I told you, they actually make $3.3 million additional dollars in profit at the end of that 50-month period.
Wouldn't you have liked to known that before you made the purchase,
And by the way, that is after subtracting the full price of the M30S or the S17 from the analysis. Because some people would say, well, wait a minute, I'm spending less. I could have bought more S17 to try to catch up. In other words, I got like 5 turtles going, and you got 1 or 2 hares.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You can subtract the 100% of the cost of your miner out of there, and it's $3.2 million. If you don't subtract the cost, if you just say, I'm just going to blindly buy 1,500 S17s or 1,500 M30S and forget about my initial cost, you actually have $4.5 additional million in your bank account at the end of the period.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's a big number.
Yeah, so let's take a look. So you're on our website, you simply have this one hyperlink right here, you click it, and it brings up this Google spread.
Boom.
The spreadsheet's called What's the Best Miner in 2020? Spoiler alert, Whatsminer M30S. So if you take a look here, I got two identical columns. You really just need to look at this column over here because this column, the ABC column, is what is today's real data. Here's the 67 terahash S17 Plus, which is all you can get. You can't buy anything faster. If you look at column E, incidentally, it says if Bitmain sells the 73 terahash again and fixes the problems with the 40 watts per terahash. So when I say problems, it's not really a problem. If you run a Bitmain 73 in a super cold environment, you can get 40 watts.
Oh.
But if you run it in a hotter environment, it drives it a lot harder and it gets like maybe a higher watts, like 42 watts. Okay. So the norm that we're seeing coming from people is 73 and 42 for some of those ones that they actually made that.
We have 5 years of experience, or not us, but 5 years of history on Bitmain's S9 to understand what that is. Oh no, I'm sorry, S17. All right, scratch all that. Keep going.
So let's look at the columns. In today's world, 16 cents per terahash per day is an average. There's a chart right here called Bit Info Charts Comparison. See if I can open this hyperlink just to show you guys. Here's mining. It says profitability. That's a misnomer. This is a free website out there in the world. It's really Bitcoin mining. It's not Bitmain. It's not Whatsminer. This is a generic website. But this is Bitcoin mining revenue because it doesn't have any costs in there for power, hosting fees or anything. So this is just how much money you're going to get, and it shows the daily return. And so if you look at like a 1 year look back, you can see that we had crypto winter back here, and we're averaging 16 cents. You can see 16.2 right there, and you can look at this line, and there's a lot more volume above the 16.2 cent here.
Big time above too.
Yeah.
What's that hitting up there? 50 cents.
Yeah, it hit 50 cents. That was right back when it was $14,000 Bitcoin for that day. So, we use an average of about 16 cents, and you can see that that's a pretty decent average. And we just hit it yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yesterday, right there, boom, it was exactly 16 cents. Okay. So
that's our number.
That's where we get the 16 cents from. So that's this number right here. And 67. If you want to go to bitmain.com website, this is what I was telling you earlier. You can see the, come on, bitmain.com. Super machine, Antminer S17 Plus, right? Come on. Well, I guess let's go back to that one. So you can see the initial picture. Well, maybe they're changing it, putting what they really have. Isn't that something? Oh, here we go.
There you go.
You can see where it says 73 and 40, right? And that's joules per terahash, but it's the same thing as watts per terahash.
Okay.
So they're saying, hey, 70 and 40, plus or minus 10%. And theirs actually doesn't say plus or minus. It just says plus, doesn't it? It just says plus. That's interesting. So if we go look at this Antminer, and we're going to go to the shopping cart now. So now we're going to shop.bitmain.com. There's some Rusky in there. So now we say, well, what are our choices? Well, we got a couple old S9s here that you can have. We got this T17. The T17 is when the chips fail on the batch. They test them and they go, okay, these passed and these didn't. And so the ones that don't pass the design get put into the S17 and sold for a cheaper price. So these actually run at a lot higher power. They burn a lot more power than this.
Right.
But we're not even going to go there on this particular segment. Let's just look at the top of the line machine. So I mean, this is it. They got these. This is their product choice. They got 4 choices. Okay, and so this is it. So if you want to buy an S17 Plus, you're getting a 67, and it delivers in March, just like we talked about. Okay, it's $1,585. Incidentally, if you click on it, I mean, hey, these are the top machines that the #1 provider of the largest Bitcoin manufacturer in the world makes.
Right.
This is it. We're right here on their website. Interestingly enough, they've changed something here. They used to actually fill out the chart all the way. If you look at this detailed character, like products at a glance, if you're just at a glancer, you're going to get a 67. Well, that used to be 73. 4 months in October, that was 73, and then in December that was 70.
Yeah.
And now it's 67
That
for
really
some
does
reason.
bug me. Yeah.
Isn't that weird? But look, they go, oh, at a glance, you're going to get 40 watts per terahash. Well, at 25C, that's like running in an office with air conditioning at 70 degrees Fahrenheit or something, right? Well, most mining operations don't run
A little hotter than that.
like in an office, right? So what they've started doing, which is really tricky, is they say, oh, you want to see the details? Oh, don't care about the oh, you really want to see the details? Well, now they're showing, well, here's the 25C, here's the office space, and oh, by the way, here's the 40 degrees C, which is probably what most miners run in, because these miners get hot. Well, they have a value. You can run it in minimal mode. Well, that's not 67. There's a way to go in there and go low power mode.
Right.
This minimal is low power mode. Well, what's the hash rate in low power mode? Oh, somehow it's got a blank there. They don't want to show you what their low power mode is.
Oh my gosh! And this is Bitmain's website.
This is their main website. So they're going, look, in low power mode, our terahash is, we don't want to tell you. But you can get down to 40 watts. If you're in an office, you can get down to 40 watts.
Unbelievable.
If you're running in a normal hosting facility somewhere, low power mode's 41. Okay? So, oh, you want to run a high power mode? You want to try to compete against a Whatsminer or something? You can get 69.95, but it's going to take 45 watts.
Wow.
This is basically last year's machine. This machine barely compete. If you max this machine out, you barely compete against the M20S.
Wow.
So
from Whatsminer.
Yeah, from Whatsminer. And so the M30S. And then, so this is typical mode, right? Typical, not overclocked. This is how it's going to come. How come you don't tell me what the parameters are in a typical scenario?
Yeah.
So I can only guess it's somewhere between 40 and 44 in an office environment, and 41 and 45. So this should be 43 right here, and this should be 42. So just for giggles, 42 is in an office environment, right? Not normal. So we were nice to Bitmain. We said, you know what? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt and run it at 42 over here. Okay. But on these things, we actually ran it at 44 because that's what we're seeing in the field.
Very good.
All right, so now you guys understand that this is 67 and 44. Our machine is 86 and 38. In a hot environment, it's 38. If you multiply those out, that's the wattages they each take. If you went to XYZ hosting company, you can find some hosters out there that'll give you 6 cents. You might have to sign a 1 or 2, 3-year deal or something, but you can easily get 6 cents in multiple places. Maybe you can get less. Some people paying more. Depends on the time of the year. Depends on the demand. Depends on the price of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's $20,000, you can't find 6 cents everywhere. If it's $3,000, you can find 6 cents everywhere.
Right.
So it's just a price to put in there. And if you multiply out the wattage times the price, this is how much it costs per hour to run your machine. So this machine only costs 18 cents an hour. This costs 20 cents an hour because it's burning more power. So hey, they win there, it's cheaper. We're running 24 hours a day, 30 days in a month. Here's how much the hosting would be. If you're paying 6 cents, this machine's going to cost you $127 a month as a hosting fee. Hey, this one's going to cost you $141. They win there, right?
Right.
So all the greens are who wins. We win on speed. We win on price.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's the winners.
I'm sorry. We win on watts per terahash. They win on they cost lower per month to run. Here's the revenue. This machine makes $10.72 a day at 16 cents per terahash. We make $13.76 a day. We win there. And it's pretty significant, right?
That's a big jump.
Yeah, big jump. Okay, so if this is per day. So if there's 30 days in a month for revenue, then this machine makes $321.60 a month. This one makes $412.
Okay.
Okay, so if you subtract what you got to pay to host it from your revenue, this is what's left over. So the profit per month, this one makes $194. This one makes $271.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so then you say, well, wait a minute. This one's only, go look here. This is $1,585, right? So this one's only $1,585. Now this price is $22.78. This is for a customer buying 1,500 machines. If you buy one, it costs more. Our retail is $2,400. So this is a bit of a discount for a volume discount. Okay. To be fair, but I mean, this is the price that they got these machines for. So that's great. So if you actually take this amount of money and divide what you had left over after paying the hoster, it takes 8.2 months to pay for this device.
Okay.
Well, it takes 8.4 months to pay for this device. So Which one would you rather have?
No kidding.
Okay, so let's keep going. So now we said, okay, what's the lifespan of this machine? It's going to be hosted at that facility, let's just say for 48 months, which is 4 years, okay? Well, if I'm making this much profit in a month, how much do I make for, so that's 48 times. So this machine over 48 months makes $9,300. This machine makes $13,000. It's 40% more. This machine makes 40% more money. And this is 48 months versus 48 months. Remember how we kind of helped S17 along? That's going to come down in here in just a minute, because it is fair to say you can get it faster. You can get it in March. Ours is coming in May.
Sure.
And that's the right now thing. Once all production's up and running and it's June and July, these machines will be able to be gotten almost at the same time, by the way. But forget all that. Let's just say forever the S17 Plus comes in 2 months.
2 months early.
All right, that's what this spreadsheet assumes. It's not true, but it is right now. A little aside, by the way, on my little thing here, the size of the device, ours is a single can. You know, the S9 is a single piece of aluminum. Ours is a single piece of aluminum, okay? The S17 is a double aluminum. They basically, the S15, which is the granddad of the S17, they basically took two S9s and glued them together.
Wow.
So two S9s glued together, hey, we're faster now. Well, if I got containers and I'm holding so many S9s in my containers,
right?
Let's say I had a 400 S9 container, and I want to take those out and I want to put S17s in.
You can't put 400 in.
I can put it in 200.
Oh my gosh.
Well, how many?
Yeah.
Whatsminers could? Oh, you put 400 Whatsminers in there, no problem.
Wow.
So a lot of people are like, you know, here they are getting these 1,500 machines going. Oops.
What am I going to do with that?
So I just put a little side in there. That's not, I mean, that has nothing to do with it. But
right, but if you're buying 1,500 machines, that's something you consider big time.
If you've got a warehouse, you've got a mining facility of your own, it's only so big, so many shelves.
Space is an issue,
Get ready to put in half the machines if you use the S17. All right, so during the life of the device, I didn't went all crazy here, okay? I just thought it was fun. I just went nuts, but I figured out that because this is the amount of profit you're going to get, I then divided that by the actual terahash to say, during the life of the device, a terahash from that device makes you $139. A terahash from this device makes you $151.
That's neat. I like that stat.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And then, you know what? You're providing power. Let's say you're a private hoster or something or whatever. And let's say your power costs you the 6 cents or whatever. Well, every time you issue a kilowatt to one of your machines, what is it going to generate you back in profit? And for the life of the device, for every kilowatt that you crank to that machine, it gives you 9 cents in profit. This gives you 11.5 cents in profit.
Wow.
Same kilowatt you're firing at the machines, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what we did was we said, okay, here's the overall profit. What's the overall profit if you take out the machine cost? Because remember, our initial customer's view was, well, it's cheaper.
Right.
Well, if you subtract that $1,585 from the $9,000 return, your profit's $7,700. If you subtract the $2,278 from the $13,000, your profit's $10,700. That's $3,000 more per device.
Per device, yeah.
So that's 40% more profitable. So here I entered the number of machines. This particular customer, 1,500. So then we said, let's take a look at the extra gains that are going on. Well, here what we did was we actually multiplied out the difference and said this machine makes more money than what was this one? Let me look at it.
You're fine.
Oh, 1,500 machines times oh, that's $4 million. I apologize. We have to cut that piece up.
No, yeah. So start that little piece over.
Yeah, we'll start this over. So down here we see the difference for one machine. Then we put in 1,500 machines. And we said, well, what's the end result of 1,500 machines getting this much more money? So 1,500 machines getting this delta right here, the difference between these two?
It's $4 million.
Is $4.5 million. Huh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy these 1,500 or these 1,500. This one makes 4.5 million more.
Well, it goes to show you really do got to do your homework on these things. It's not as simple as a simple price per terahash.
It really, and especially when you throw in this next thing, which is valid. Hey, if I buy machines today, I can get these S17s in March. I can't get the Whatsminers until May.
Okay.
So we said, okay, let's take a look at that. How much do these guys make? They make this much money. So we actually calculated the profit, which is B16,
right,
times B27, the 1500. So we gave them, and here's the 2, right up here in the formula bar. So we gave them 2 months of profit. Here, we'll throw in 2 extra months of profit for you because you're starting in March, and so we're starting in May, right? And we said, well, that's 582 grand. Well, how much more profit? So if you go this way, you make $582,000 more than you would have had you gone to M30S. And if you go this way, you make 4.5 million more than you would if you'd have gone to the 7 Plus. So you make 677% more going our way than going the Bitmain way.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
That is.
All right, so here's another way to look at it. Here's the bottom line, okay? Accountants and stuff, this is all nice. You've hacked this apart in 14 different ways. If I buy these machines and pay the hosting fee, and by the way, we've got 50 months of hosting in the cost here. We actually added the 2 extra months of hosting right here for you accountants and sticklers for the Bitmain machine, because the Bitmain machine, this is the total cost to buy the machines, to host them for 48 months, and oh, by the way, to host them for 2 more months.
Right.
Right. And then over here, we just have buying the machines and hosting for 48 months. Here we have total revenue is buying these machines plus this additional 582,000. That's the B29.
Okay.
So we've got your total revenue is 50 months worth of revenue. Okay. And over here we've just got just the 48.
48.
Okay. So these machines, total revenue generated is 23,700,000. This is 29,700,000. The total cost hosting and machines is about 12 million bucks, and this is about 13.5. The bottom line is you're going to take the difference, which is 11.8, or you can take 16. So it doesn't matter how many miners you buy. It doesn't matter what the cost is. You're going to get crushed if you buy S17 Plus. It's 38% difference. Isn't that nuts? So here, I had a fun one down here. So I made this for hosting guys, because there's a lot of hosting sales guys that are calling us all the time to get their customers miners. I'm like, would your customer like 4.3 million additional dollars in their pockets? and then finally over here, it says initial cost of miners. Well, hey, that's 1,500 miners. That's what it costs. This is 1,500 of our miners. Man, that's $1 million more.
Yeah.
Dave, you'd have to be crazy. You're asking me to spend an additional $1 million? Well, if you do, and then you subtract, that's the difference. That is the difference between those 2 numbers.
Okay.
Well, let's subtract that additional upfront cost from the additional profit. Okay, so yeah, you spend $1 million more, you make 3.3.
Yeah, yeah.
And these miners take half the space.
Very eye-opening, that is for sure. I mean, wow.
Listen, to be fair, the last thing I want to show you is, for some reason, Bitmain's got some problems, and they're having to create these miners that are not what they thought they were. This is not what they promised their end users in October when you went to the end user Bitmain conference. They didn't say 67 at 44. They said 73 at 40. Okay? And that's not what it's turned out to be. So, assuming that they can get back to that, right? And even still, they're never going to get to 40 because they just don't. There's 42. But the bottom line is a little closer if you get some 73 stuff here. So if you go look here.
Okay, so this is apples to...
All we've done.
Same thing, but just a different...
All we changed with this.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the only changes. But that changes of higher speed and lower power.
So you're giving them a real benefit of the doubt here.
If they could fix their chip problems and get back to what they announced that they could do to their customer base, then this is where they would be. And that's the only 2 changes. So here, the question is, would your customer like 2.7 additional millions of dollars? He said, well, what about the price of the machine? The machine goes up. You don't pay, I did change another thing. You don't pay $1,585. The reason they're dumping the prices at $1,585 is because things.
That's right.
Last
you
year's
pay
model.
Premium for the model, wouldn't you?
And I gave $1,700, but the reality is when they had the 73 out, it was actually $1,915. You guys can go. Oh, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm view only. Oh, yeah. But just leave it alone. But it was actually $1,900.
Right.
But I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say you could potentially buy them for $1,700. Okay. Well, you make an extra $2 million basically if they had their machines back the way they used to.
$2 million. $2
million.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Wow. Now wait a minute. So you said you couldn't change this. So is this available to me if I want to pull this online and look at it?
Yeah, great question. So if you go to this hyperlink here and it says view only right there, please don't request edit access because we're not going to give it to you. However, what you can do is just go file, make a copy. And if you have a Gmail account, it's just going to make this copy. You click OK, and boom, you have your own copy. You can edit and make changes all you want.
And then you can do whatever you want. Okay, that's cool, because I'm going to play with this. That is a really good spreadsheet, David.
Yeah, man.
You put some thought into that.
Yeah, well,
but you have to. When the guy tells you no, and you in your heart of hearts, you knew MicroBT was the best miner, or Whatsminer was the best miner for the guy. How do you explain it to him? This is how you do it.
Yeah, right. And don't you think everybody thinks, well, the cheaper thing is better. I'm gonna go with cheaper. I can't see the difference.
Right.
I'm going with cheaper.
Well, that's the ROI was what, 8.2 months and 8.4 months.
Right.
I mean, we're talking a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. And then once you've paid for it, would you rather have the rabbit or the turtle?
That's awesome. That is awesome. Do you have anything else you want to chat about?
No, I'm good.
David, thank you so much for bringing all this to light. I mean, this is neat for anybody who's interested in a bulk quantity of miners. They need to see this spreadsheet.
Yeah, I will. Hey, you know what? I will add this. These miners are so fast. The Bitcoin halving is due to be end of April, May, something like that. And so for people who don't know what that means, 1,800 Bitcoins are being ejected onto the earth every day by the Bitcoin system. And initially, if you have no idea what you're talking about in the cryptocurrency space, you may be, well, that seems really weird. It's like, well, the Federal Reserve of the United States of America ejects billions of dollars of new cash into the global economy every day.
Every day.
So it is the same thing. The only difference is that the Bitcoin is going down. It's got code that says it's 1,800 today, and there's a halving coming. In other words, we're having financial restrictions. It's modeled after gold. If you dig the earth for gold, you get less and less and less. Every year, there's less gold mined because, now not every single year, because they might find a new mine and it goes up big time.
But on average.
But over decades, the humanity is digging less and less gold out of the ground because it's getting more rare. So Bitcoin's modeled after that. In May of this year, code will actually drop the 1,800 a day that the global miners get to share as mining rewards to 900.
Half,
which is why it's called the halving. So,
every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
That happens. And that is one of the big drivers of the increase on the price, correct?
That's right. Because what would happen if half the gold was dug out of the ground in 2020 compared to 2019? The price of gold would go up. You can say, no, supply and demand. Okay. Well, supply just got cut in half.
Right.
New supply from the ground. So price of gold would go up. Well, and that actually is happening. You guys can Google it as a funny aside, but the World Gold Council says that by 2032, there's this term called easy gold, and it's the big miners are in these big mines, and they're digging out big easy gold. Now there's a bunch of little tiny mines that have smaller veins, and doesn't mean we're going to run out of gold to mine, but it means that we're going to run out of easy gold. And so they're saying in 2032 you're going to see the price of gold jump. Well, interesting. So it's got a cycle.
Right.
Well, Bitcoin has a cycle too. And so what did we start mining in, like 2009? And it was modeled after gold, so that it's got a 140-year run. Bitcoin's going to have and have and have and have for 140 years.
Wow.
Till it's down to the last few Bitcoins being mined.
That'll be worth probably a lot of money. I know it was Satoshi Nakamoto himself that was saying either Bitcoin's going to be worth millions one day or nothing.
Right. And people go, I don't know. But I mean,
it's just math.
Yeah.
Him, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
That is awesome. So if somebody wants to buy a Whatsminer MicroBT M30S, they go to our website, they can send us a wire, right?
Yes.
And then,
you can buy it right
Bitcoin.
online. If it's a small number of miners, you can just send us Bitcoin online and buy it right away. If you want 5 miners, you can buy it in the middle of the night. You don't have to talk to us.
I got you.
But if you're a major miner, you should email us. We've got it all over our website. Email us, contact us. We want to talk to you. and maybe we can help you. We do immersion mining, we do air mining. We've got a lot of data. So for our customers that are buying miners from us, we'd be happy to support you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. And thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more from Whatsminer MicroBT as David helps to explain this whole crazy world to us. Thanks, David. We'll see you guys soon.